Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. This is probably the most hated ship in World of Warships Blitz right now. This is the Atlântico. Why is it such a hated ship? Well, let me quickly recap the Atlântico in a couple of words. Traditionally in battleship designs, you have the choice between speed, armor protection and firepower, but you can only pick two of them. So this is what happens when you break that rule. This thing has got tier 10 armor plating, tier 9 citadel protection, and has better secondaries than anything else in the game. Flat out, pretty much. She's basically got a Cheshire strapped to each side, a bunch of extremely long-range auto secondaries that some other ships wish they had. Certain American ships, and yeah, so it is pretty dangerous because it is pretty difficult to destroy, and it is dishing out a large amount of damage. So far so good. Do we need to be afraid of this ship? No, we don't. It's a battleship, right? The only thing that if we look at it with an objective eye, the only thing that is different from other ships, from other battleships, is that it is very resistant against armor-piercing fire. Everything else is the same. It burns. It takes damage from planes, torpedoes. It dies just the same. The only thing that actually has trouble fighting this ship are battleships that are using large caliber armor-piercing. Other than that, there is round about a 9 to 10 kilometer circle around the ship where you don't want to be. So draw an imaginary circle around the ship. The inside of this circle is I don't want to be here. The outside is the Atlântico can't hurt me. Because the main batteries are crap at long range. The dispersion isn't great. The penetration is poor. So as long as you stay out of range of its secondaries, which is round about 9 to 10 kilometers, there's not an awful lot this thing can do to you. So just avoid it if you can, or sail something that traditionally does not have the problem of I need to hurt something with large caliber armor piercing. Let me demonstrate. I'm out in my Akizuki because it's tier 8, and there's an Atlântico on the enemy team. There's also an Indianapolis. It's a 2v2, so I'm not going to bore you too much. I'm just going to skip ahead to the point where I'm about to find the Atlântico. Alright, so the Indianapolis is somewhere on the other side. I'm just getting rid of that Miyoko over there. And there's also one of the bot cargoes. I think the Atlântico here was somewhere in the middle, and I've actively been hunting it. Yeah, there he is. You see him poking up behind the island? So I've actively been hunting this thing because it's an Atlântico. I want it dead. And the first things we're going to do is we're going to smoke up, even though there are bots nearby. But we'll try it. We'll see if we have any luck. We set him on fire. He's not damaconing the fire because he's not stupid. No, well, he might have. Maybe he just didn't realize. So the smoke's currently active. And yeah, the torpedoes have the range. And if I get perma-fire, then that looks like a perma-flood. And now if I can get another a perma-fire or two, then that is the next Atlântico. What is... you see, if you're in a destroyer, you obviously don't want to sit broadside onto an Atlântico, unless the Atlântico is otherwise occupied. So now he's no longer otherwise occupied, and is going to start shooting at me with his, you see, there it comes, 234 millimeter high explosive. That hurt, yeah, okay. But now he's dead. And dead Atlânticos don't shoot at you. So, yeah, that works just as well as against any other battleship. Because if you don't have large caliber armor piercing to shoot at things, then it's not so much of an issue. And I did eventually clean up that Indianapolis as well. But let's try a ship that is. Well, what if you're out in a battleship, right? And you just want to play battleship, and you don't want to play an HE spamming destroyer. Let's switch over to another battle. Here I'm out in the Odin. And it is a center control on cage, And we're playing against double Atlântico. So everybody probably groaning already on our team, saying, oh dear, whatever are we going to do? We're all going to die. Well, so the Odin is also mildly overpowered, but obviously with the armor piercing, will somewhat struggle to deal with an Atlântico. The thing is, how do you win battles? You win battles by controlling capture circles. I mean, you win battles by killing everybody. That's a viable tactic. But controlling capture circles is a good way too. So we're going to head into the capture circle and see where we're going to make ourselves useful. Because there are other things that we can shoot at. And obviously once we get Atlânticos to shoot at, then we shall open up on them. And the other thing is that when it's sort of the Smolensk syndrome. So once people realize, in the first week, everybody went, oh, new world record, 170,000. New world record, 200,000 damage. Yeah, because nobody bloody knew how to play against the thing or what it was capable of. So now that everybody does, it's probably a different story altogether, because everybody sees an Atlântico, knows how dangerous the damn things are, and focuses it down. And tier 10 armor or not, if under focused fire, that thing will go down. So we're going to park ourselves inside the capture circle, next to that little island there, and see if we can find something. There's an Atlântico. Okay, the Atlântico is not in the capture circle, which is good. It's a good start. They're all sailing merrily around the capture circle. So I am aiming intentionally somewhat towards the rear, such that I'll try to hit the stern section. He's now on fire. And on this, if I can get stern hits in, even with the Odin's relatively low caliber guns, and these are 283 millimeters, I will do full penetrations occasionally towards the stern section. So it's not that you can't hurt them at all. It just takes a little bit of time. It's not a huge amount of damage. We're doing 2,000 points of damage, but these things don't have a lot of health. And they were both on fire, and they've both been under torpedo threat. And much more importantly, do notice the difference between our team and the enemy team. We are inside the capture circle. The enemy team is sailing around the capture circle. Now, Takao probably doesn't seem to be in firing range of that Atlântico. Now, this guy, he's coming around the island and is now getting into the capture circle, and he's on almost full health, so we're going to have to do something about him. But there's also Benson, there's other stuff, so, well, let's work on the Benson too. There comes some torpedoes. We won't dodge those, and just make sure that these guys don't get in the capture circle. As long as they stay outside the capture circle, I really don't mind them all that much. And there's obviously the fire incoming from the double Atlântico, and we were on fire, so we're going to be backing off a little bit. That's the secondaries. That's the secondaries coming up. And yeah, our armor piercing is not doing an awful lot, but look at how these things are melting. There's a smoke in front, but that's not helping him. Nobody's lost the ship yet, but that Atlântico just poked his nose into the capture circle. The rest of his team said, well, you're an overpowered tier 8, you go first then. And he got absolutely massacred. And look at that, everybody's shooting at the damn thing, and it's dead. There we go, first ship down, and one of their destroyers is down up. That was the Benson, well done Takao. And they're still not holding the capture circle. There comes another Atlântico. Okay, so he's seen how his friend's been faring. So there he comes. Let's see what he can do. At this point, he is relatively isolated though, because the rest of his team is bimbling about somewhere at the far end of the map. And he's not in the capture circle, not that would him doing any good. I know one of the destroyers has gone all the way around, it's right behind me. I'm just going to ignore it, because I've got an Atlântico to shoot at. And these things are dangerous, so they need to die. So he's on fire. He's taking a bunch of torpedoes. Well, not as many as he could have, but look at the hit points melting on this thing with everybody focusing on it. And yeah, destroyer behind me. I know. Okay, slowing down. Torpedoes from the Odin off. Another shot in from point blank, and that's a dead Atlântico. And now we've got a destroyer here, which means I need to turn left. Which means I take 2 torpedoes. Trying not to spoil the ruffle stomp medal for us. Go, secondaries take that thing down, and that just leaves the Amalfi, and that is a more back there. I'm low on hit points, so back off. And enemy Yugumo is dead. That's the one who's been running after me with blinders on and not knowing where he's going. Back off, just throw off their aim, and all will be well. So Yeah, just being in an Atlântico is not, even if you have two of them, is not a guarantee for victory. In fact, by the looks of this battle, I would say it's actually it's almost a guarantee that everybody's going to like, oh crap, we need to kill those things. And these guys are really having trouble killing me, which is good because I don't want to die. Stop trying to kill me. I want the Rufflestomp medal. They are drawing a lot of fire. And under fire, even if it's armor piercing, they will eventually succumb. So unless you're just leaving them alone and playing a dumb game and not going for the capture circle and just leaving them be or engaging them, it's like these action movies, right? This is like kung fu movies and stuff. When the hero is faced with 10 enemies. And they all surround him and then decide to engage him one-on-one. It's like everybody gets in a queue and the first one comes in, gets his ass handed to him, and then the next one comes in and the same thing happens. Yeah, if you do that, of course you'll give these things massive amounts of damage. But if you don't, then don't, right? Just don't queue up trying to kill them. So now, okay, what if you are not in an overpowered, what if you are in a battleship that really doesn't have torpedoes, doesn't have the greatest secondaries, doesn't have all those things? You just a long-range battleship. You just want to use, you've got an Atlântico to shoot at. Let's go in a Richelieu. So, long story short, after clearing out a whole bunch of bots, because, of course, bots, we are about to encounter the dreaded Atlântico, the indestructible Tier 8 ship of mayhem. And there he is over there, behind that bot Colorado. So, we obviously do have the armor piercing loaded, because we're in a Richelieu, and Richelieu has pretty good armor piercing, especially at close range. Which means we are now going to start shooting at 12 kilometers at an Atlântico with 380mm armor piercing, which probably isn't going to do an awful lot. Have you seen what I've done there? I have done I would say it's sort of a unicorn move. I have switched to high explosive. Did you know that your battleships have high explosive shells? Because if your that Atlântico is over there, is busy. I am 10 kilometers away from him. He cannot hurt me even if he was trying. He isn't trying. But he's now on fire. He damacons the single fire, and the high explosive does pretty reliable damage because high explosive cannot bounce. So just stay out of range of the darn thing. I mean, I do have to move forward a little bit because there's still some bot ships coming around. So now I am actually within the danger zone, but the Atlântico is otherwise occupied, and I can try and set another fire. No luck there. Haven't done an awful lot of damage. But, generally at this range, and I'm backing off again because now the bot on my rear is engaged. Otherwise, I don't have to worry about him. Just stay out of the dangerous zone of that thing. Right? Just don't fight it in secondary range. Why would you want to do that? And he's already down to half hit points. And he hasn't done an awful lot against me. So now he's killed the bot Benson. He doesn't have anything else and doesn't really have anything else to shoot at. Is he going to shoot at me? Well, he's got another bot coming in, so he's engaging that thing. And he couldn't even engage me with secondaries if he wanted to. So I'm going to keep firing high explosive at him. And I don't know if you followed the damage counter, but this is starting to add up. And this is now he's starting to fire at me. There come the high explosives. So I'm just going to back off a little bit, because I can be out of range of his secondaries, and that's a double fire. Is he going to damacon? Yes, he is. Well, he should have, so it's all good. And I'm just backing off, and now I'm at like 10.5 kilometers, and there's no way his secondaries are going to hit me from there. He has no way of catching me ever if I don't want to, because I'm a lot faster than that thing. And I can just keep plastering him with high explosive. There's a permafire. Don't fight these things on their own terms, right? And now he's given up because he can't hit me, because his main guns are terrible, and they found a bot carrier to fight. But I can just keep hitting him with high explosives. Yeah, his fire is out. He's healing up a little bit. So there's also the other player. There's the Edinburgh over there, but he now no longer can see me. So I do have to move forward a little bit just in case the Edinburgh gets any funny ideas. But I'm in a position from where he's on low enough hit points. I've got a heal ready. I've got a damage control ready. I'm reasonably certain that I can just take this thing out. So we'll just wait for him to come around the corner and start backing off already. And then we will take them on. And there he is. Hello. Still got the high explosive loaded. No fires, unfortunately, but it does hurt him. We'll just heal up. There comes the Edinburgh. And he's coming around the other side, so I do have to now move forward because I don't want to be torpedoed by the Edinburgh. But that Atlântico now, while he is doing a lot of damage with his armor piercing and with his secondaries, well, he's dead now. So yeah, how to kill an Atlântico? Simply shoot it, and just be aware that the only thing that these things are very hard to kill with is battleship caliber armor piercing. Everything else is, and yeah, that island hitbox just played a number on me. Everything else works just fine. High explosive works fine. Torpedoes work fine. Planes work fine. These things aren't particularly fast. Just stay out of the 10-kilometer radius of them and then shoot them. Easy. And yeah, so don't be afraid of Atlânticos. They are slightly overpowered. Everybody knows it by now, which means everybody's going to be super aware and focus firing, and they're not that difficult to kill. So there we go. That's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.